Brandon Staley, in a little bit over a year with the Chargers, not only has made a lot of promises, but has consistently kept those promises and brought much needed improvement to this team in many different assets. And it doesn't seem like he's going to be slowing down. Not only has he brought a huge amount of team unity and also allowed this team to really be gutsy and prove that he believes in this team going forward on fourth downs and very long distances that maybe some of us fans don't agree with, but he has inspired this team dramatically in every single asset. Not only that, he has also improved it by bringing in brand new talent. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. We're going to be talking about some of the promises that he's made, some of the ways that he's proved those promises and reinforced those promises, and why us as Chargers fans should believe in him as a coach, as the future coach of this team and still current. This is not just a little 2 years and gone type thing that some people were saying he should have been moved on from after last year just because of his risk taking. And I feel like that's what makes him so special. So if this is your first time on the channel, my name is John. This is the Sports Advocate. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it a lot. I think you're going to enjoy this video a lot, especially if you're a Chargers fan. So go ahead and give me a like, give me a dislike, give me some criticism down below because I really look to improve. Also, comment your favorite acquisition that the Chargers have got in the past 2 years. Any draft, free agency, whatever it is, go ahead and put that down below. And if you like this content, you might as well subscribe because it really means a lot to me. And if you're coming back on a daily basis anyways, why not go ahead and subscribe just so that you know when I'm posting instead of having to search my name every time. But let's go ahead and get into this. The number one thing that Brandon Staley helped improve a lot, which has been a struggle for quite some time for this Chargers team, was the O-line. He promised to improve the O-line last year. Not only was he able to improve it last year, but he's still improving it now. And I mean by large, measurable distances, he's improving it. The last time the Chargers had a Pro Bowl lineman on the team, on the O-line, was in 2017 when they had Russell Okung, and last year they had 2 Pro Bowlers. You have Corey Linsley, who the Chargers brought in free agency last year, arguably the number 1 center in the entire league. Had a Pro Bowl the very first year with the team, and he still has 4 years left on the contract. You also drafted Rashawn Slater last year in the first round. He only allowed 4 sacks in the entire year. He's a Pro Bowler his very first year in the league, and he has 3 years left in the team. So not only do you have 2 incredible pieces on that line, you have them for quite some time, and they're still pretty young. So you have 2 Pro Bowlers last year for the first time in 5 years. And before that, it was even longer since the Chargers had an O-line. This is something that we haven't seen in a very long time. Rivers never had the protection that he needed, and you bring in a true, incredible talent in Justin Herbert that could become multi-MVP candidate, possibly. And you bring him in and you say, hey, we're going to help him, even though we weren't able to help Phillip Rivers the way that he really deserved to. We're going to help Herbert right now. And that's exactly what you do. You go get 2 Pro Bowlers in 1 year. You bring in a new guy this year in Zion Johnson, who some people believe will end up being a Pro Bowl caliber player in the end, which is great news. You take him in the first round with number 17, 2 years back to back. You take an O-line to help out Justin Herbert. Not only does Zion Johnson have a great potential, he's definitely going to be an instant starter on this team at one position. Some people aren't quite sure. I expect him to be at the guard position on the right side of the line, but some people like to say that he might move a little bit. But nonetheless, not only are you bringing in this great instant starters, Pro Bowl capable players, but you're bringing in guys who have great potential, are still young, and are versatile. You have Matt Filer. He's a multi-position starter. He's capable of starting at multiple positions. Right now, there's lots of talks. Is he going to be a right tackle, or is he going to be a guard? What is he going to be exactly? No one's quite really sure, but Matt Filer brings a lot of diversity to this team, a lot of movability. Last year, Oday Abushi, Chargers have not re-signed him yet this year, but he also brings a lot of versatility. He can play multiple positions, and that's something that's very, very good for the Chargers. Again, this year, bringing Will Clapp. He's a center, probably going to end up being the backup center. But if you have someone go down with injuries, he can play multiple different positions. That's something you love to see. Not only are you bringing much needed depth to this O-line where you always seem to have injuries, but you're bringing people that could be starters in other teams, and they can play multiple positions. So it's not like you're locked into one spot. And the Chargers used another draft pick on the O-line this year. They took Jameer Sawyer in the later rounds. He could possibly be an instant starter on this team at multiple positions. And if he's not a starter, he's great depth. This team has improved the O-line dramatically, and I think a lot of it has to go to Staley. He's done a phenomenal job, and he promised that he would. This O-line has turned around so fast in these past 2 years. I mean, let's think about it. A couple of years back, can you name any players that were a starting O-line for the Chargers a couple of years back that are still starters on other teams? I can't. Truly, I can't. I can't name. I don't think there's anyone that used to be a starter on the Chargers a couple years back that currently is still a starter. I don't think Brian Bulaga has been re-signed at all. I don't think Russell Okung is still starting anywhere. Our old center is now a backup with, I think he's with the Saints. That might be wrong. It has turned around so fast. Most of the players that were starters for the Chargers O-line a couple years back are backups on most different teams. And then you look at the Chargers O-line now, and you have multiple Pro Bowlers, multiple players that would be starters on different teams, multiple depth pieces that can play multiple positions, multiple improvements. And that goes to Staley and Telesco. We can't take this away from Telesco. People are giving him a lot of trash for being his 10th year and only making it to the playoffs so many number of times. But look at how well he's done in the draft, and look at how well he's doing now in free agency. These two together have done great. Now, last year, he promised the O-line. This year, he promised a run defense and defense in general. But he said this run defense needs to improve. And that's exactly what the run defense did. Sebastian Joseph-Day was brought to this team. Phenomenal run defender. He's a nose tackle. He had 55 defensive stops since 2020, which ranks 15th in the entire league. He was phenomenal for that Rams defense. He had a little bit of an injury last year. I think he injured his pec, but he still did a great job for them, and I think he'll do a great job with the Chargers as well this coming year. Austin Johnson comes from the Giants to this team in free agency this year, had 37 run stops last year. Phenomenal. Some of the best in the league. Again, improving that run defense. Khalil Mack, yes, you might not know him very well as a run defender from the Raiders or the Bears, but Khalil Mack is one of only 2 players in the NFL last year at edge to have above a 90 PFF rating in pass rush and run defense. The only other player, TJ Watt, the defensive player of the year. So if you think Khalil Mack's been on a slump with the Bears, you're a little bit wrong. You're quite a bit wrong. He's still done amazing. And the Chargers got him this year in a trade, which was a second round and 2 sevenths now because of another trade that happened after. You get Khalil Mack for a second round pick and 2 sevenths. Incredible. Then, just a few days ago, you bring in Kyle Van Noy from the Patriots on a 1-year deal. And he not only can be very, very good in the pass, in zone at linebacker, pass deflections, but also in the running game. He's forced multiple fumbles. He's very good when he has played on the edge for the Patriots. He's been very good. And we're only talking about what they've brought in since Staley's been on the team. You're not even looking at what they have. Joey Bosa, who was 10th in the entire league last year in edge rush or run stop win percentage. He was 10th in the entire league at edge. Edge/outside linebacker. 10th in the entire league. Joey Bosa. So this team already had much well players that were quite good at the run defense. It was just as a team they struggled. Also, Derwin James, he's a very good run defender. Now, he's not always up there in the box and all that stuff, but incredible run defender. And you have quarterbacks that are able to do it too. J.C. Jackson did quite well. This team was not good last year at run stops. They had a couple players that were good at it, but as a team they weren't. And now they've improved in multiple assets, positions, everything. And there's still room for improvement. Another thing that Staley talked about a lot in his press conferences was chess pieces, bringing in chess pieces. What does that mean? Players that you can pick and you can put them wherever you want and they will work, and you can run crazy stunt packages and all that stuff. And there was already some players like that on this team. Joey Bosa, he can drop in coverage, he can rush the passer, he can run defense. Derwin James, he can pretty much do everything. Stack the box, cornerback, slot, safety, pretty much everything. No? Drew Tranquill, I think when he's healthy, he's able to do multiple different things as well. Kenneth Murray, when he's healthy, his first year in the season, he did very well. His zone is a little bit of struggle, but he can blitz, he can come off the edge, he can drop a little bit in man. His zone can still improve, but it's only his third year. We're only entering his third year in the league. There was already pieces on this team that could go to multiple different positions. And then Staley comes in and he improves it again. J.C. Jackson, number one in the entire league last year in pass deflections. I think he's number one in the league in the past 3 years for total interceptions. He can play slot. He can play outside cornerback. He can play inside the box. He can do a little bit of everything. He can probably drop in safety if you need him to. J.T. Woods, Chargers' third-round pick. He is a safety, but he could probably come down to cornerback as well or stack the box easily, like without worry at all. Kyle Van Noy, who I talked about earlier in the run defense. He's an inside linebacker, outside linebacker, and an edge. He can play any of those. He can drop in the zone. He can rush the passer. He can play man. He can help on your tight ends, on cut blocks, blitzing, run stops, anything. Another chess piece. Asante Samuel Jr., a draft pick last year who definitely looked amazing at the beginning of the year and then kind of fell off after some injuries. I shouldn't say fell off. He didn't play as great after some injuries, but I expect him to explode this next year. Truly, I'm a huge fan of him. And Asante Samuel Jr., a lot of people say he's amazing in the slot, but you don't even need him in the slot now. He can also go play outside. That's great news. And that's not even everybody. There's a lot of other players, too, that were drafted, picked in free agency, or anything in the past 3 years that have immeasurables and measurables that are going to help the team a lot. Things on the field that you can teach and all that stuff that you can measure. Hey, this guy's fast, this guy's tall, lengthy. Hey, this will help this team a lot, but also leadership. Also the ability to read plays and analyze plays and help other teammates and say, you got to go do this. There's so much talent on this team that's been brought in just the past 2 years. It's incredible. And then you got to look at what this team already had. Also, what this team brought back with Staley here. Brought back Michael Davis, who is going to be incredible cornerback 3 or 4, depending. They brought him back. Big, fast, lengthy, incredible. You bring in Mike Williams, one of the best 50-50 ball wide receivers in the entire league. Big, fast, lengthy, great. That's going to help your wide receiver a lot. Your wide receiving core, that's going to help Justin Herbert a lot. You go draft Joshua Palmer last year. Again, he's big, but he's also he's bigger, I should say. He's not like super tall or whatever, but his size looks quite big on his frame. But he can run routes and all that stuff, and he has pretty good hands. Last year, they bring in Jared Cook, who was quite well for his age, for this team. And then this year, you bring in Gerald Everett, who I would expect to do very, very well this year and be tight at number 1. You just keep seeing improvement. Spiller this year in the draft. That's going to be running back 2 most likely. Huge improvement. And this is all since Staley's arrived only. And then you look at who the Chargers had before. Herbert, you had him 1 year before. He looked incredible last year. I only expect him to improve more. Keenan Allen looked incredible, and he looked even more incredible with 1,000-plus receiving yards, 100-plus receptions, his 5th straight Pro Bowl. Joey Bosa, again, incredible player, had the most forced fumbles he's ever had this past year under Staley's defense. This team has looked great. Derwin James stayed very healthy, looked very good, was able to play at so many different positions. Looked great. There's reports that Trey Pipkins, who was on this team before, has improved dramatically this offseason and could still be the starting right tackle because how much he has improved. And he definitely wasn't a great starter before Staley got here, but now they're saying he definitely could be the number one starter on that right tackle in week 1. Austin Eckler, incredible year last year. 20-plus touchdowns. Maybe it was exactly 20. I think he had 1,000. Was it 1,000 plus on both sides of the ball? Or on passing and... I don't think it was 1,000 plus. Was it? I don't know. He had some crazy stats where both the passing game and the running game. These guys, not only do the people you have before Staley got here, when Staley gets here, they improve, they do better, or they stay about the same. If they're older and they don't really have time to grow, they still stay like this instead of dropping. You bring in great new guys in the draft and free agency last year, and you continue that trend this year. Yes, Chargers missed the playoffs last year, but they missed by 1 game. They missed by 1 timeout. They missed by 1 field goal. And sure, maybe it was because Chargers didn't kick enough field goals in certain games where they should have, or they didn't, punt it, and they went for some dumb situations. But they were in every single game. They were in great position. Justin Herbert is not scared of clutch time. Staley is not scared of those tight situations because he believes in this team and this team believes in him. And that's something incredible. Staley has turned this team around so much, and I think this has been the most excited I've been for a season to come. I think this is the most excited. And I expect one of those 12-4 seasons with incredible memories made this year. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to go 12-4 as a record, but I expect those type of memories. Going for the 2-point conversion to beat the Chiefs with Mike Williams after he just scored a touchdown and sprinting down. Phillip Rivers doing this little thing and then points after he runs his longest he's ever ran in his career. Herbert in his first year, I expect him to put his body on the line and just truck a linebacker and make him stay on the ground and Herbert get up like it's nothing. I expect Eckler to burst for those 50-plus yard touchdowns and Keenan Allen to catch every single ball thrown his way pretty much. Last year, maybe he dropped a little bit more than expected, but a couple years back, I think he was number 1 in the league for least number of drops. I expect Mike Williams to get those huge 50-50 balls and come down with it when there's 3 guys around him. This team is going to be so exciting to watch, and no matter what that record is, I'm going to be so excited for every single game that comes on this TV right here. And I hope you guys are too. But with that being said, I don't need to rant anymore. I think I've proved some points here. I've gathered some information and presented it to you guys in a pretty good way with good energy, but there's no point in me rambling on about my excitement because I'm sure you guys are already plenty excited. So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, truly, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. Also, give me a like because it really helps the algorithm to help more people find my videos, and that would mean a lot to me. And comment down below your favorite acquisition that the Chargers have brought to this team in the past 2 years. I'd appreciate if you did any of those 3 things. It would mean a lot to me. And, as always, I hope it taught you something. I hope it made you laugh. I hope it made you smile. That's something that's really important to me, affecting someone else's day in a great way. And, as always, you guys all be safe out there.